you hear what Paul said tonight? Okay, thanks guys for coming. Let's try to quiet our hearts. We got the where's our set aside prayer? Do you have it? Okay. If you got the set aside prayer, pull it out.
I got this one.
And we'll try not to get it all wrong. Okay. Prayer. God,
please set aside everything I think I know about you, everything I think I know about myself, everything I think I know about others, everything I think I know about my recovery.
For a new experience with myself, a new experience with others, a new experience with my own recovery, and especially a new experience with you.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you for reading that. Okay, I put some stuff up here at naplesretreat.org to get these videos. They're almost all up, right, Jeff? If you go to this website, you hit events, then you go to Big Book Deep Dive. There's two different big books. Go to the one that says Deep Dive, go to View Classes, and that's the password, Recovered. So go ahead, help yourself. If you have any questions, you can email me, or you want any of the literature. All the handouts I've had, I have them all digitally. So if you want them digital, just drop me an email and I will get it off to you. When I first started sponsoring guys, this is what I did, is I went to stuff like this, and I took forums like this, and that's how I worked with guys, and I had a lot of confidence. I mean, one of the things when I'm sponsoring, we're gonna get, that's maybe gonna be next week, is working with others. Tonight we're on step 10, we might do step 10 and 11, we'll see how it goes. See how long it takes us to get into it. And then next week will probably be step 12, but we'll see. If we get hung up, we may end up ending early tonight at step 10, or we might go, if I think we can get it all done, we'll get it all done 10 and 11, okay? Very good. Now, anybody back up. 9th step. So on our 8-step list, I told you what my sponsor and what I have guys do is I give them, I write out my list, the harms I've done others. I've got my list, and then I give it an A, B, or C. Now I've taken the names off my resentment list, off my relationship inventory. If I have anybody I'm afraid of that showed up on my fear list, I'll take them, I'll put them all on the list. And then I got that other list, harms I've done others that I have no resentment, no fear, and no relationship with. Those things like, you know, I stole a pack of cigarettes from the gas station. I've harmed them, I have no resentment against the gas station, but they gotta get on a list somewhere. So now I put all those lists together, and then I give them an A, B, or C. We talked about this last week. A is I must do ASAP as soon as possible. B, willing to do, and C, no way. Now, did anybody go through their list? Anybody have any 9th step experience, 8th step experience this week that they want to talk about or share with the group? Questions? All right, we're all done. We've all finished our 9 steps and ready to go. I wish we were finished with our 9th step. I don't know about you, but I know there's people in here with more years than I have. But things come into mind. Inspiration comes into mind, particularly as I'm driving along the day, or somebody pops into my mind, and I think, oh, they weren't on my 8th step list. My 8th step list is always being added to. Yeah. And then I gotta be willing to make that amends. Then I give them an A, B, or C in my head. And if it's a C, I'll call my sponsor and I'll talk to him and try to explain to him why I have the right not to do it. If it's B, B's a little tricky one. B is that, you know, willing to do, should God put that person in my life. B was like the state of Minnesota was B, I'm willing to do it. I'd stolen all that money. Be careful with B, you know, because all of a sudden that person might show up, or an auditor might call, or, and we had a great one today. A guy, one of my sponsees grabbed me and he said, I got a little problem. And this is almost mailbox-like story. You guys remember the mailbox from last week? So a guy says this morning, he says, I went to open up a checking account and they took my money, and then I went home and I tried to get online and the app wouldn't allow me to go on. So I called them and they said, yeah, there's a problem. And he's got a lot of bank fraud in his past. Yeah, a lot of bank fraud. And so they said, we'd like you to come down here. Yeah, that's what he said too. Yeah, no way. So he had given him $100, and they said, basically, we'd like you to come down here as soon as possible, call us and let us know when you're coming, and we'll give you your $100 back. And he's like, well, just mail $100, I ain't going down there. So we talked about it, and I said, looks like you're gonna go make some amends. And he said, well, what if, you know, some of this stuff I haven't really addressed. Maybe there's, you guys know the feeling, right? Like, I think I know what I did, but maybe, yeah. And so I said, well, you're gonna go make amends. Well, what if they arrest me? Then they arrest you. I don't know. Did you do it? You know, I asked him who lawyers were for. He said criminals. So, boy, you know, do we know who lawyers are for now? Who are lawyers for?
Innocence.
Innocent people. Yeah. I said, are you guilty? Yeah. I said, go do it. I'll go with you. He said, no, I'll go on my own. I know, the people avoid that. Go with me. Lock him up. He's doing amends. Never bring your sponsor to any legal amends. Anyway, he called me. He said they gave him his $100 back and just basically said, because of your past banking habits. Yeah, you're not gonna do business with us or probably no other bank. And, you know, then we got a real nice, deep conversation about how our past comes back. Like when you least, I'm recovered, I am better, jeez, how much more? And it's just God reminding me that I'm an alcoholic, that I am capable to today of committing the fraud I committed, to stealing, to having this mind, having fear take over. I'm not gonna get enough. And next thing you know, I'll be yet again in more impending doom, more trouble, more, I don't know about you, but you know, those reminders I get filled with gratitude. Like I'm not adding to it. All right, so
There's some hope for him.
There's some hope for him, yeah?
Yeah, I was banned from a bank.
Okay.
I had written a bunch of bad checks, and I went, after I got sober, to open a bank account, and they said, oh no, you can't, you have to go down to this bank and this bank. Oh no, I went to another bank, and they said I had to go to that bank to clear it up. So
Yeah.
I went down there, and I had to pay like $324 to get it cleared up. And I said, so can I open a checking account now? They said, oh no, you can never open an account here again.
Here.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm 10 years sober, right? And somebody I meet works at that bank. And I said, oh no, I can't go to that bank, I can't do it. And then she said, oh yeah, I bet you can, go down there and see. And I went over there just to see, and they would open an account for me, because I asked them, I said, if I win the lottery, you're not gonna take my money? And they said, no.
Yeah.
But when I went there, they said, yeah, you can open an account. But I didn't, I said, no thanks.
They said, you win the lottery, you'll be dead in a week. You won't be opening up any bank account. This was checks writing between several different banks. And then each check is a little more, and then you cancel the last account, keep the cash. Yeah, that's different than, he wasn't bouncing checks, man. This was, kiting, who said that?
Kiting.
Yeah, kiting, I think that's what it's called, yeah.
Not that I know.
Yeah, banks don't like, yeah, not- I've heard about it.
Amazing the education we have.
All right, let's go on to step 10 then, huh? Now we're, if you remember when we first started, I talked about the steps a little bit. First step is the problem. Second step is the solution. Steps 3 through 9 are the actions I take to get in touch with step 2. And steps 10 and 11 you often hear in meetings are the maintenance steps. Anybody ever hear that? Yeah, run. Anybody here ever try to maintain their drinking or your drug use? How'd that work out? Why would you try to maintain your sobriety? Why, if I got to a certain point, I'm early on, 90 days, 100 days, I'm on the pink cloud, why would I just say, okay, this is it, I'm going to stay here, I'm done. You know, I've had the spiritual experience, the people are starting to forgive me, I'm starting to get my stuff back. Why would I want to stay there? Why wouldn't we want to go deeper and deeper and deeper? And let's see just how much is in there. And as a matter of fact, nowhere in our book does it say that these are the maintenance steps, and the 12 and 12, and we're going to read here today about that this is our growth step. So I'm going to start you off with, you don't have to go to it, but on page 58 he sets it up and how it works. And you'll remember we read this, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to the simple program, usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. So he's going to use honest 3 times in this paragraph. And what he's talking about is daily inventory. Can I do spot check inventory? There are such unfortunates that are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. A manner of living. We're going to get into steps 10 and 11 is our manner of living. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to do inventory. If I have the capacity to do inventory, you ever notice step 10? I was sitting in a meeting once, I was about 3 years sober, and it says continue to take personal inventory and when we were wrong. The word when jumped out at me. Like, why doesn't it say, I was like, why doesn't it say continue to take personal inventory and if I'm wrong? Like, if I was wrong. Like, if I'm wrong, I'll promptly admit it. And if you're wrong, I'll promptly admit that too. But it says when. Do you think this was written by an alcoholic? When I'm wrong. In other words, I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to make mistakes. Out to dinner, my sister comes in. This is this weekend. My wife and I and my sister and her husband were out to dinner. We've had a fantastic day. It's the second day in a row. They're staying with us the second day in a row. Unbelievable. We're out to dinner. There's a band playing. It's a beautiful evening. We're outside. And I did the stupidest thing. I embarrassed my wife. I mean, just what I did was like beyond stupid. And it went, like, we're going to dance. I could tell she wanted to dance. We're going to get up there, people dancing. I thought, and I do something that's so stupid and embarrass her. And she just went from to, and I went, oh, jeez. No, and then I was embarrassed. And then I had to do a 10th step. You know, I got to do a 10th. I'm sorry. She's like, enough of you. Just like that, you know, click. Yeah, what's wrong with you, Paul? Thank you. I know. But the 10th step says the pause. So pause. I was agitated that the night is over. And then we went home. My sister and brother-in-law lived, staying with us. Not living with us. But you follow, and then there's just nothing I can do. I want to tell her how stupid it was, how boom, and there's nothing I can do but go to bed. And then the next day I went to work, and then I came back the next day with all the pause going on, nothing said, and then we had a mature discussion. And she did it basically without being in the program, did a 10-step with me, like I shouldn't have overreacted. I was too sensitive, we were having a good time. I am sorry, I'm sorry. It's just so different than my nature. My nature is to lighten up, we're having a good time. All right, I want to tell her all the things, like it was just a joke, get over it. But the 10th step allows me to say, huh, man, what a dumb thing to do. And that won't be the last dumb thing I do, I assure you. Get used to it. All right, we're on page 84. Right after the promises, he gives us the 9th step promises. It says, this thought brings us to step 10, which suggests we continue to take personal inventory and continue to set right any new mistakes as we go along. We vigorously commence this way of living as we cleaned up the past. So during the really steps 4 and 5, step 10 is going to be a continuation or a daily 4th and 5th step. 4 and 5, I reconcile myself with myself. And in step 10, I continue to reconcile myself with myself. Anybody here that we do a 5th step every year, or I do a 5th, the other people, I don't have any opinion on that. I know in my life, I don't do a 5th step every year. I do regular 10 steps. And it's been my experience that when I'm sponsoring men and I'm hearing 5th steps, I bet I've heard a dozen 5th steps this year. I bet it's close to a dozen now already. Because I'm in an area though where I get a chance to hear lots of 5th steps. They're incredible. And if you were a fly on the wall in a 5th step, it's hard to tell who's doing the 5th step. Which one is the sponsor and which one is the sponsee, I think. Because oftentimes I'm the one crying, right? I mean, some of you guys have heard your 5th steps, I think you know what I'm talking about. And I love it, man. I just love hearing 5th steps. All right, continue this and clean up the past. We have entered the world of the Spirit. Our next function is to grow and understand the effectiveness. This is not an overnight matter. It should continue for a lifetime. Watch for these 4 things. We continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. When these crop up, here's a prayer. We ask God at once to remove them. God, please remove my fear. God, please remove my selfishness. Please remove my dishonesty. And then what is the contrary behaviors to these? The contrary, it's pretty obvious, right? Selfishness, selflessness, dishonesty is honesty. I try to be honest. Resentment is forgiveness. The contrary behavior, when I have a resentment, I must forgive. And the contrary behavior to fear is to have faith. You've got me, God. You will take care of me. When these crop up, we ask God at once to remove them. We discuss this with someone immediately. Don't wait on doing this stuff. And make amends quickly if we've harmed anyone. Then we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Love and tolerance of others is our code. And that turning your thoughts to someone I can help is key. You know, he brings it up in almost all of our lists, particularly in the sex inventory. He talks about when that imperious urge is on me, is I turn my attention to someone I can help. Bill was going to the detoxes. He was going to meetings, picking up guys, picking up new guys, looking for new guys. Can I hear someone's story? Can I hear somebody who's not where I'm at right now? And what happens, of course, is whatever these thoughts are, whatever's going on here, man, it goes away. And I don't know why, I don't know how it works, but it works. All right, here come the 10-step promises. There's going to be 12 promises here on 10-step, and these all come true to me in my life. Now, you hear a lot of guys say, and we talked about this in the first couple of nights that we met, we talked about 3 states of alcoholism: unrecovered, recovering, and recovered. So you'll hear a lot of guys, and I introduce myself as Paul Beckfeld, the recovered alcoholic. And because I was told this is the definition of a recovered alcoholic. And I was also told a recovering alcoholic is someone who has not done their amends yet. They're in the process of doing their amends. Because they don't get these promises when they're holding back on their amends, this is not available to them. And I've had this experience in my own life where there's 1 or 2 or 3 things that are C's on my list, and I know deep in my heart they should be A's. I know I should be making amends to my children. I've got to get this out of my mind that they were too young, they wouldn't remember, they wouldn't know. It's not a big deal. It'll probably hurt them if I make the amends. Have anybody ever rationalize yourself out of amends? But if I just go to my mom and bring up those things, it'll probably just hurt her feelings. And why would I rehash them? That's some of the things, stuff that goes through my mind when making amends. Or like my friend today, if I go to the bank, they might arrest me. It's like, go to the bank. He was willing to he had $100 in there. He's like, I'll just let him have it. I'll bet you go get your $100. But that's what his mind was doing. So let's read about the recovered alcoholic. And we have ceased fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol. That's promise number 1. How nice does that sound? For by this time sanity will return. That's promise number 2. Here's number 3. We will seldom be interested in liquor. 4. If tempted, we recoil from it like as from a hot flame. You remember on page 24? Bill was talking about a hot stove. It's insane. It's like touching a hot stove, knowing it burns me, and touching it again and again. Now think of what he's writing here about our thoughts. In the early chapters of the book, he was saying, no, don't be thinking. Do not be thinking. All throughout the first, say, 88 pages, we got a common theme: is stay away from thoughts. Get into this habit of praying, of getting inspiration through prayer and meditation and sponsorship and secret. But here's what he's going to say about our thinking now. If tempted, we recoil from it as a hot flame. That's the 4th. Here's the 5th. We react sanely and normal, and we will find that this has happened automatically. Here's 6. We will see that our new attitude toward liquor has been given us without any thought or effort on our part. It just comes. That is the miracle of it. Here's 7. We are not fighting it, neither are we avoiding temptation. 8. We feel as though we've been placed on a position of neutrality, safe and protected. 9. We have not even sworn off. Instead, the problem has been removed. It does not exist for us. 10. We are neither cocky nor are we afraid. That is our experience. That is how we react, so long as we keep in good and fit spiritual condition. And circle that word again, react. He keeps talking about my reaction to life. It is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. Laurels are the good things I've done. And when I came in here, my laurels needed resting. I was doing so many good things, right? Not. We are headed for trouble if we do, for alcohol is a subtle foe. We are not cured of alcoholism. What we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. Every day is a day we must carry the vision of God's will into all our activities. How, here's our prayer, another prayer, 10-step prayer. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. These are thoughts which must go with us constantly. We can exercise our willpower along this line all we wish. It is the proper use of the will. Anybody ever hear that we don't drink one day at a time? AA is a 24-hour program. We don't drink one day at a time. Sometimes you'll hear people say, I don't drink 1 hour at a time. I don't drink 1 minute at a time. You hear that a lot. It's a 24-hour day. problem. But that's not what our book is saying. Our book is saying what we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. It's a spiritual day. It's a day where we insist upon having fun. We insist upon the book. Nowhere in the book does it tell us not to drink no matter what. Matter of fact, twice in the book it says to drink if you're not convinced. To drink, to pick up again. If we haven't convinced you, if you're sober and unhappy, it says maybe you ought to think about drinking again. Because maybe the booze will be the convincer for you to come all the way in. The people that I see that are unhappy in meetings are mostly people that don't live in 10, 11, and 12. They're really 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And they don't drink for a long time. And they're not very happy. They don't have what I want. Can anybody relate? Anybody know who? Yeah, if you think of somebody, you want to be that person in a meeting? I don't know. I want to be happy, joyous, and free. And be happy. And that's why the laughter is so attractive to me in meetings. So it's not about not drinking, it's about living. Contrary behavior. If I swear off drinking, if I renounce drinking, I'll drink again. You know, and an unrecovered or recovering alcoholic, at the end of the day, they judge the success on their day because they didn't drink. Thank God, what a miracle. I didn't drink today. Where a recovered alcoholic never ends his day. He'll say, thank you for my sobriety, and then the real inventory that we're going to do is based upon, how did I show up today? Did I embarrass my wife at dinner? What do I need to make amends? Or did I meet a new guy? Did I help a guy with his own amends? Did I sit down with a new sponsee? Did I get a new phone number? Those are the things recovered alcoholics are thinking about. Whether the day was good or not is not based upon whether they drank or not. They already know they're not drinking. You know, I know I'm not drinking today, and most likely I'm never going to drink again. But man, to be a dry drunk, I know what a dry drunk. I've been a dry drunk, and that's worse than drinking. My own opinion. That's where most guys that kill themselves, men and women that end it, do it with years of sobriety. Yeah, not many do it while drunk. And for me, liquor say I went 19 years without drinking, and I was miserable. I didn't go to meetings. I didn't have anything, and suicide was a long thought, man. It wasn't. It's hard to explain, but it was like not a bad option. It was on the table to relieve myself of what I was doing. And what was I suffering from was agnosticism. I thought I had God in my life, but and thank God I drank again. I always say, you know, at 19 years, I walk into a bar and I order a beer. That's one of the best things I've ever done in my life. I am so grateful I did that, because it was so bad, you know, to go pick up that beer, and I never did any of this stuff. And it brought on 12 years of finding out that alcohol was not my problem, that I got deeper problems, and then what the steps do is allow me to inventory that, and what this step allows me to do is continue the inventory so it doesn't pile up. So, much has already been said on this paragraph. Much has already been said about receiving strength, inspiration, and direction from Him, capital H, who has all knowledge and power. If we carefully follow directions, we have begun to sense the flow of His Spirit into us. To some extent, we have become God conscious. We have begun to develop this vital sixth sense. But we must go further, and that means more action. So more action must mean that step 10 has action. Anybody have any examples of 10 step? You know, Lou, I know you stepped on me today and said, hey, I was looking to do a 10 step when you called me and I didn't call you back. What does that mean to you to do a 10 step?
First of all, the awareness that I am experiencing fear and selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, whatever the deal is, maybe it's all four. I ask God to remove it. I'm reaching out to somebody to let them know what's going on, like go that way, and then help somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Follow directions.
Yeah, and I get those 4 warning signs. One of them is depression. It goes selfishness, dishonesty, depression, and fear. So those are the things that are gripping me. Those are the things that grip every alcoholic. You know, and what do I do with it? How do I 10-step it? A lot of places you'll hear about, you know, I do my 10-step in the morning, I do my 10-step at night. We're really talking about the 11th step, which I think we're going to slide into now. That's okay. But 10-step is a daily spot check inventory as I go through the day. And I ask myself the questions that we got in the first paragraph there. It brings us to step 10, which suggests we continue to take personal inventory. And then he gives us continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty. When these crop up, we ask God at once to remove them. So I do a prayer. That's what Lou was talking about. If they still don't go away, if I'm still gripped by that fear, I discuss it with someone immediately. And if my sponsor's not available, I like sponsees. Chances are a sponsee's gonna call me, hopefully. If not that, then I got plenty of other numbers with alcoholics. I discuss it with recovered or recovering or even unrecovered alcoholics. I like to get their take, man. And I do not like to take my take. I don't like talking to the guy in the mirror, because he'll put a spin on everything that makes everything okay. I gotta get away and I gotta be honest. And so that's that spot check inventory. Then I gotta ask myself, if I've harmed anyone, do I need to make amends? Not always. Then we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Love and tolerance is our code. Any questions on step 10? Anybody? Got any comments on step 10? Anybody doing a step 10? I got it sent. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I guess after we went through 4 and 5 and I'd gotten out, and I said this to you, but I'll say it to everybody else, just with a real mature attitude of like, you know what, man, you're 60 years old. Get rid of this shit now. Excuse my language. Because you know what, you still have everything in front of you that you're gonna have resentment for. So as I'm now approaching my day, I'm working on a 24-hour clock. My memory doesn't go any further than that, so if I can speak to events, especially if I post out a person, especially in traffic these days, I do my best to make sure I get up there and try to say, hey, you know what, I'm having a bad day, I'm in recovery, and I just really just took it out on you, and I'm really sorry, and I'm gonna tell you what, let's see, 9 times out of 10, it's 7 out of 10, they're like, hey man, no problem.
Yeah.
So, for me, and then I'm done, you know, I don't have to worry about taking that into tomorrow's,
Yeah.
brand new day, so.
Yeah, brand new
I'll
day.
work.
How about this one? You telemarketer calls and you tell them to F off. Anybody ever done that? Huh? Telemarketer calls somebody who I'm not gonna be able to call back, but I don't show up right. You know, they call at the wrong time and I get upset and, yeah. And then I can't make amends to them. What do I do with that? You know, 10 steps. As soon as you hang up, you go, you have to be an ass about it. You know, I mean, maybe try to be nice to the next telemarketer. I don't know. Those are the things. Like, I'm showing up. I don't want to ask God to forgive me. Pray for that telemarketer. You ever think about what a lousy job that would be?
You could always pull the Seinfeld move and ask for his home phone number.
I know, the Seinfeld, yeah. Give me your, that's mean, see? That's what I'm talking about, not doing that stuff. Okay.
I've got one
Yeah,
question.
please.
Is there, when I was first in, probably the first 2 weeks of recovery, you know, I had a big blowout with my wife over the phone. And my sponsor, I called him to tell him about it. And he had me open up to page 84. And
Okay.
he actually said, okay, I hadn't done the 4th step yet, but he just had me like read this.
Mhm.
And then he said, let's do a 10th step. And it was sort of like, you know, let's deal with this problem right here. We're not, you know, but with your,
Yeah.
right, this, so my question is, would you, you know, say that this is something that somebody would not do until they've done the other steps, or
Yeah.
was this something that a newcomer could do?
Yep, so a lot of times when guys first come in, their sponsor will have them read page 84 to 88. They'll say you can do any step that starts with a 1. Anybody ever hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so for me, I don't do that. If you're on the first step, let's talk about the first step. My sponsee calls me, he's had a blowout with his wife. I might take him a little bit into inventory, relationship inventory, but I don't do a 10th step. The 10th step says continue to take personal inventory. There's an assumption there that you know how to take personal inventory. You don't know how to take personal inventory. At least I didn't. All the guys I work with, they think they know how to take personal inventory. They have no clue how to take a personal inventory. So in those cases, we want to, you know, make amends to the person's spouse or whoever they harmed, but it's more importantly right now just to look at your behavior and where's it coming from. So you can't draw into how fear, if you're in early recovery and you're still on step, say, we're just sliding into step 3, or somewhere up to, we're not up to past page 60 yet, so we're somewhere, I mean, we're in we agnostics, or we're reading there's a solution or something like that. It's very hard then to say, okay, we're going to do a 10th step here, because I might confuse you. Because I was confused. Guys would have me do this, some sponsors would have me do this, and I didn't. Like any, guess what step starts with a 1? 12. You know, I was a 2-stepper for a long time. You know, I am an alcoholic, let's help you. You know, I got 8 days. And I'm probably gonna drink again tomorrow, but boy, I'm gonna carry a message. Really, that's a 2-stepper. The 12 and 12 is gonna call me a 2-stepper. I was a 2-stepper for a long time, so. That's my own, but I don't think the sponsors that say that are wrong either. I totally get what they're doing. They're trying to create a habit for me in how to do step 10. But in my case, I'm gonna blow it. I'm gonna point out her defects. That's probably what the fight was over. You probably helped her do her inventory.
Sure.
Yeah, I know. We're very helpful as husbands. It's out of love, dear. Yeah, any sentence that starts off with, I don't want to say this, but it's out of love. Whatever comes after that is going to be really bad. It's going to end very badly. Fair enough, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Early in recovery, my thoughts are not, my thoughts are the problem. My mind is my problem. My thinking is my problem. And step 10 says, God gave us a brain. He's going to tell us this. He gave us a brain to use it.
Gotta wait till it clears up.
You gotta wait till it clears up, till the fever is gone, yeah. Does that help you?
Yeah, I think he was just trying to get me to somehow make an apology and patch things up,
Okay.
using this method. But
All
I
right.
see your point.
Okay, okay, so let's try to, let's talk about step 11, okay? Everybody okay with that? Okay, I can talk 20 minutes. Step 10, I'll put you to sleep. All right, step 11. All right, you want to read a little up there? Did I read that last paragraph? I did, didn't I? Yeah, okay, step 11.
Step 11 suggests prayer and meditation. We shouldn't be shy on this matter.
Can anybody read the step for me? It's got an assumption in it. It's on page 60. 59.
Sought through prayer and meditation to improve
Is
our...
that nice and loud? Yeah. Oh, you're not there, huh?
I don't
All
want
right,
to mess
listen to this assumption it makes.
Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out.
What's the assumption? You got that I have conscious contact with God. And I think when I'm early in recovery, I think I've got conscious contact with God. I don't have conscious contact with God. I am confused. And the inventory is going to just point out just how confused, particularly the chapter we agnostic, just how confused I am on my relationship with God, how child it is. It's a total Santa Claus God. If I do good things, I get good things. If I do bad things, I get bad things. It's this weird relationship that I have that is not what this step is talking about. So, okay, take us up.
We shouldn't be shy on this matter of prayer. Better men than we are using it constantly. It works if we have the proper attitude and work at it.
What's the proper attitude? An attitude of faith.
It would be easy to be vague about this matter, yet we believe we can make some definite and valuable suggestions.
Okay, now here's an interesting thing. We start, the 11th step starts when we retire at night. The belief, I've read many ideas of why Bill would write it in this way. The one I like, which I have no idea if it's right or wrong, is God wants me to have a good night rest. A good sleep is important. I remember the first night I got about 6 hours of sleep. I was probably 3.5 years sober. And I didn't realize how long it had been since I've had deep sleep. And I got up, man, did I feel good. I had no idea what I'd been missing. And I was doing this stuff. And I believe that God wants me to have a good night's sleep to take on the day. He takes it over. Why is the camel our symbol? Anybody know about the camel as the symbol? It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it starts its day on, it ends its day on its knees.
Why does he go down to his knees?
And unloads his burdens.
Who unloads the burdens?
The camel does.
No, the camel does not. His master does. His master unloads his burdens.
Well, the way I know it, the camel does.
Camel, how's he gonna unload? He's got no thumbs.
The camel stays dry all day
All right.
long. They don't say his
But the camel always drinks again. How about that? He's gonna drink again.
He stays dry.
I didn't know. I used to belong to the Sahara Club. I go to meetings at Sahara Club up in Minneapolis, and they have these camels all over. And one day I'm sitting there, and it's like, freaking camel always does drink again. He's gonna drink again. I'm just like the camel. Because I didn't realize what Dr. Bob was getting at. What Dr. Bob liked about the camel prayer was, he gets on his knees, his master unloads his burden. In the morning, he gets up, he gets on his knees, his master puts his burden and leads him through the day.
And the master stays.
The master leads, well, maybe the master's, there you go, I never thought of it. The master stays dry. Why are you looking like that? You have an absolute, that was like the oddest look, like, what is he talking about?
I've never heard about this camel.
Oh, you haven't? Oh my gosh.
This camel is very new to me. I'm
Yeah.
very excited about
Very good. Yeah, I guess you don't see it. You don't see a lot of camel. Like we got it on Marco Island. We have a camel.
Camel chip?
The camel chip. Never heard of the camel.
Chip is cool.
I got nothing.
Wow. When you go Google Dr. Bob Smith and the camel, and you'll get the Google the prayer. The camel prayer is so beautiful. And it, yeah, I want to be a camel. I want to get on my knees and have these burdens taken off so I can sleep well. And then when I get Trey laugh. All right. I have no idea how we got there. Okay.
When we retire,
Okay, when we retire at night,
we constructively review our day.
okay,
Were we resentful, selfish,
you can
dishonest, or
pass
afraid?
these. Oh. Guess what this is? This is a review of your day. We're going to get 9 questions and the 11th step. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll pass this too. This is to help with expenses and the church. We're going to give something to the church. Okay, here's our first. When we retire at night, that's what that sheet is. These are the 9 questions. Okay?
Were we resentful, selfish, dishonest, or afraid?
So the first question, was I resentful? Second question, was I selfish? Was I selfish? Was I dishonest? Or was I afraid? Okay?
Do we owe an apology?
That's number 5.
Have we kept something to ourselves which should be discussed with another person at once?
6 sounds a lot like our 10th step, doesn't it? Okay?
Were we kind and loving toward all?
That's 7.
What could we have done better?
That's 8. Listen to this one.
Were we thinking of ourselves most of the time?
Or
Or were we thinking of what we could do for others, of what we could pack into the stream of life?
how about that? I get this is an inventory. I can put something good on. Remember in step 4, we don't do anything positive. I know you guys got a lot of positive stuff about you. That's not what step 4 is. It's a deep moral inventory. Here, I get the right, yeah, I showed up. Yeah, I skipped something that was important to me to work with this person. And I got a lot out of it. I get to do a beautiful inventory. Okay?
But we must be careful not to drift into worry, remorse, or morbid reflection.
Anybody good at doing that?
For that would diminish our usefulness to others.
Oh, okay.
After making our review, we ask God's forgiveness and inquire what corrective measures should be taken. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, or self-seeking motives.
So we got 2 prayers there. The one was at the end of the paragraph above. We saw we ask. After making our review, we ask God's forgiveness and inquire what corrective measures should be taken. That's my evening prayer. Please forgive me for the things I've admitted and the things I've omitted, the things I don't even know, and give me the corrective measures. Be careful with that one, because all of a sudden something happened. I was rude to someone in a meeting. Those things pop where God wants me to make it right. Then I get a morning prayer. God, direct my thinking. Let it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, or self-seeking motives. Sound familiar? He's bringing up these character defects in steps 6 and 7, and that's what we're doing is a step 6 and 7, because 11 is the continuation of steps 6 and 7. So in 10, I continue 4 and 5, the reconciliation of myself with myself. In 6 and 7, I reconciled with God. In step 11, I'm going to continue to be reconciled with God.
Under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance, for after all, God gave us brains to use. Our thought life will be placed on a much higher plane when our thinking is cleared of wrong motives. In thinking about our day, we may face indecision. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here we ask God for inspiration, an intuitive thought, or a decision.
Another prayer, another 11-step prayer. God, I need your inspiration, your intuitive thought, or a decision. Help me, God. This is morning meditation advice. That's what Bill has given us.
We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. We are often surprised how the right answers come after we have tried this for a while. What used to be the hunch or the occasional inspiration gradually becomes a working part of the mind.
Oh, we're going to use our mind? How about that?
Being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, it is not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. We might pay for this presumption in all sorts of absurd actions and ideas. Nevertheless, we find that our thinking will, as time passes, be more and more on the plane of inspiration. We come to rely upon it.
Okay, so the morning meditation, I'll share with you what other people have shared with me and I've adopted. So the morning meditation is key in my life. And I get up in the morning, I roll out of bed, and I get on my knees, and I do the 3rd step and the 7-step prayer. And then I got business to take care of in the bathroom, and I have a little dog she's got business to take care of. So off we go. I shower, I get ready for my day. So I've only done the 2 prayers. And now my day is already moving. I will not look at my phone. And me and my dog, we take it's a little bit more than a mile walk. She does her business. I talk to her a little bit. I walk very early. It's 4:35 in the morning, so I usually have the moon. The moon and stars are beautiful here on the peninsula. I will often find myself even stopping just in wonder. Like, wow, that's a good one today. Huh? Then I get back home. She has to have her treat. There you go, you got your treat. She's all excited, she pooped. You know, it's like a major event. And then I go to my morning prayers. And the first one I do is an app that is Catholic. And it's a very popular app. Anybody know where I'm going with this one?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Hallow.
Hallow. Hallow. Non-Catholic, Catholic, I really recommend it. It's a little expensive. I think it's like $60 a year. We're right now in a Lenten meditation. Anybody watch The Chosen? You know Jonathan Rumi? I'm doing a 40-day meditation with Jonathan Rumi. You can hear him it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's on Nagasaki. We're reading a book. He's reading portions of the book, and we're meditating on the bomb in Nagasaki. It's so incredible. I'm chilled right now thinking about it. But so that's the first thing I do, and then I do this still on Hallow. I do Rumi's always got something going on. But then there's a Be Still meditation, and it's for women. And my wife said you should listen to today's meditation. I listened to it. I've been listening to it ever since. I think for 2 years I've been listening to a woman's meditation. It's a 5-minute. It's incredible. She knocks it out of the park, and it's mostly quiet. She gives you a little Bible reading. And then these are non-alcoholics. We're not the only ones here trying to get in touch with God. And it's just, she knocks it out of the park. So then when I'm done with that, then I go to Daily Reflections, and I'll read that. I might make notes in my Daily Reflections book. I try to read slow. I try not to be in a hurry. I have a clock that sits on our DirecTV thing that kind of tells me time, but I try not to do that. And then I read Emmett Fox. Anybody know who Emmett Fox is? And a lot of you guys know Emmett Fox. This was sponsored, turned on me. Now this is non-conference approved literature. This is non-conference approved. I used to have this thought, and Bill knew this when he first suggested, first day I met with Bill, he gave me this book to read. And he looked at me and he goes, I know it's non-conference approved literature, but it doesn't mean it's bad literature. It's just non-conference approved, doesn't belong in our meetings. But man, we can use it. So this Emmett Fox is what Bill and Bob were reading on a daily basis. This is what they used for their prayers, along with this book. And this is my Bible, and that's the other big book. And this is what these guys were reading every day as a group, because they didn't have this other literature yet. They probably had an idea they were going to get some if it goes on. But this will ask me to read from the Bible. It might give me scripture. And then a few years later, then Bill got me into this book. This is Oswald Chambers. This is who Emmett Fox came from. And this is a totally different. This book here has lots of room for journaling. And I really like the journaling. And now this is last year's journal. This will be for tomorrow, April 3rd. And I'll be able to read where I was at last year. And then I'm green highlighting. I green highlighted last year. This year I'm using pink. So I can kind of see where it's really beautiful. I didn't know that I would have that kind of flow.
What's the name of that book?
My Utmost for His Highest.
Oswald who?
Oswald Chambers, My Utmost for His Highest. And this is also very Christian based. It's not Catholic based. And he also brings you to the Bible and has you read the Bible. Mostly New Testament, but some Old Testament stuff. I was not a Bible guy. I didn't even own a Bible. I had to buy a Bible because I'm Catholic. Sorry. There's actually a history behind that, why Catholics, because most were illiterate, and the priest would read the Bible. And so there's actually some...
They read it in Latin.
And they read it in Latin and stuff like that. I don't go down that road. It's about 40 minutes. So I know that if I'm gonna be at the 6:30 meeting, my morning meeting I like to go to, that means I gotta get up around 4:15 to get the dog in, to get my shower in, to get my prayer in, and to get all this in. And then I get in the car, and I go to Sobercast. Anybody know what that is?
Yep.
Sobercast, and I'll put it on a speaker, or I go to, which has really been good lately, which is Mad Dog. Anybody know Mad Dog? All right, Mad Dog is, these are all AA podcasts. And Mad Dog has been really good lately. It's tough on AA, by the way. Mad Dog is, they're not afraid to give us our, you ever listen to Mad Dog? Yeah, and then I got another speaker app I shared with some of you guys that is just old time speakers. Like you can get Bill Wilson, you can hear, I got Lois speaking, Ann speaking, Dr. Bob Silkworth speaks in it, Ebby Thatcher gives a talk. Really old stuff, they've cleaned it up really good. So if I'm driving, I'll try to listen to that. And then
What is
my,
that one?
huh?
What is that?
I got it just says speakers. What is it, Lou? Help me, did you listen to it at all since I gave it to you?
Yeah, somebody sent it to me.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's like, Lou, I'll share it with you.
Send it to me.
Yeah, I'll share it with you. And,
Storiesofrecovery.org.
huh?
Storiesofrecovery.org.
No, it's totally different. It's a weird app that you gotta, I'll send it to you. Yeah, I'll send it to you too. The point is, what I'm doing is I'm getting my head right for my day. And one of the beauties is when I get out of bed, it doesn't take me long to make my bed, because I haven't slept like a wild animal. I sleep pretty sound when I do this. You know, if I get out of the bed and the sheets are all messed up, it's like, oh, what's going on, man, a restless night. I already know I've had a restless night. And for me, it's always an unconfessed sin that I'm involved in. There's something going on up here that I need to confess and to reconcile, usually first with someone else and then with my Creator. And I don't care how long you're sober for. I don't care how long. You're gonna get depressed. You're gonna get anxious. You're gonna have fear. Stuff's gonna happen that you didn't want to have happen. People die, people get sick, all kinds of things. And it's about this word reaction. What is my reaction? What is my reaction? Bill keeps driving home this word. And in his spiritual experience, it said a profound alteration in his reaction to life. That's what we're seeking. That's a spiritual experience. And by doing this on a daily basis, each one being added, by the way, I started off when I was first sober, it was not on my knees, third step prayer, get in the car and go. And that seemed to be good enough for a little while. But then I want to keep going and growing and growing. I want to go deeper. I don't want to maintain. And I remember I was a couple of years in, and my sponsor said, are you getting on your knees when you pray? I was not getting on my knees. And I said, yes, no. You know, yes, no, not really. Like, no, not really. What does that mean? Yes, no, not really. Means, no, I'm not getting on my knees. Good, try it. And I got on my knees the next day because I wanted to report back that I don't need to get on my knees. I told them I had a bad back. And I got on my knees and I liked it. And then a woman came up and said, are you trying praying out loud? And I said, I've never thought about that. She said, you should try praying your prayers out loud. God, I offer myself to thee to build with me and do with me. The mind shuts off. And I was like, I prayed out loud the first time. I went, well, that's pretty cool. And I've been praying out loud ever since. I do a St. Michael prayer. Anybody know the St. Michael prayer? So beautiful. St. Michael, the archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and the snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, I humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl about the world, seeking the ruin of our souls. It's this beautiful prayer. St. Michael is one of the four. I'm probably getting too, but it's a prayer to say, keep that son of a bitch away from me. And the son of a bitch, you know, he's right up here. And I just got to pick up a fear or a resentment or a desire. Think I don't have enough. And then that guy, the opposite of God can work on me. And I know he can work on you guys. And I love working with newcomers. I just say, do you believe in the devil? Yeah. Yeah, I believe after what I did 2 nights ago, yeah, I'm not made that way, and I can relate with that guy. I'm not made that way. I'm not made to do those things. Are we still reading?
You can.
Okay, where are we at? Thank you. I'm sorry,
We usually conclude the period of meditation with a prayer that will be shown all through the day what our next step is to be, that we be given whatever we need to take care of such problems. We ask especially for freedom from self-will and are careful to make no request for ourselves only. We may ask for ourselves, however, if others will be helped. We are careful never to pray for our own selfish ends. Many of us have wasted a lot of time doing that, and it doesn't work. You can easily see why.
That's when I'm praying for my bank account. That's usually my selfish end. You know, it's getting low, Lord. Take it up a little. Right, my selfish end. Okay?
If circumstances warrant, we ask our wives or friends to join us in morning meditation. If we belong to a religious denomination which requires a definite morning devotion, we attend to that also. If not members of religious bodies, we sometimes select and memorize a few set prayers which emphasize the principles we have been discussing.
And that's the principles of the 12 steps. Remember when we read them, we wrote them down? These are the principles we've been discussing.
There are many helpful books also. Suggestions about these may be obtained from one's priest, minister, or rabbi. Be quick to see where religious people are right. Make use of what they offer.
Remember how when in Bill's story, he was talking about his grandfather being a cynical grandfather towards the religious people? What a shift Bill has had. Be quick to see where they're right. Bill has started to have some religious people come into his life. Here, in a little while, in a couple of years, he's going to have this priest come in, and Bill's not Catholic, but this priest, Father Ed Dowling, is going to come into his life, and Bill's going to call him his spiritual sponsor. Father Ed was really Bill's sponsor after Ebby goes back out and drinks. And I mean, he just goes deep into what that religious person can offer. So I'm one of nature. I'm one to be cynical and to call people hypocrites because, you know, those priests, you know what they were doing. Like they were all doing it, you know, and I accuse them and I throw them all out and I lose the beautiful faith that the Catholic faith or the Jewish faith or any, you know, Muslims. You know, I thought the part of the Muslim faith was terrorism. And now I've worked with Muslims now. It's a beautiful faith, but I'm willing to throw it all out because of a few people that are extremists. And I'll throw it all out and I'll miss something that might be out there. One of my morning meditations that I get from, it's called Daily Ponderables, has Native American prayers. Beautiful stuff. Love it. Okay?
As we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful and ask for the right thought or action. We constantly remind ourselves we are no longer running the show, humbly saying to ourselves many times each day, "Thy will be done." We are then in much less danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, or foolish decisions. We become much more efficient. We do not tire so easily, for we are not burning up energy foolishly as we did when we were trying to arrange life to suit ourselves.
So he's telling me that, remember obsession, we talked a lot about obsession, a thought that cannot be removed by another thought or idea. It burns up energy foolishly. When he gives us more warnings, the same emotions, we are then much less danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, or foolish decisions. We become much more efficient. We do not tire so easily if we're not burning up energy foolishly. I mean, think about the times you're obsessing. How, like, when I was my appetite was gone. If I was keyed in on my use, I could not get rid of it. I couldn't get it out of my head. I didn't think about anything else until I got the affirmative, you know, yeah, he's got something. The call comes in, yeah, I can meet you in an hour. You know, I'm addicted to the anticipation of the high. That's what got me, the anticipation of the relief. And the way I would burn up energy, to say the least, I would burn up energy, foolish. Couldn't pay attention to what was important, couldn't be at work, couldn't pay attention to my children or my wife. I was totally focused. I had to fake the other stuff until I knew it was coming. But man, I knew that if they were leaving, I got a couple hours break, I can get to the bar quick, get a couple of beers, I felt better, man, if the plan was in place. That's what I was addicted to, was the anticipation of the relief it was going to give to me. Why? Because I got excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity. How about self-pity? I walked around as a victim all the time. All right?
It works. It really does. We alcoholics are undisciplined, so we let God discipline us in the simple way we have just outlined. But this is not all. There is action and more action. Faith without works is dead. The next chapter is entirely devoted to step 12.
Amen. Now there's another app I was going to write up here. called My Spiritual Toolkit. Anybody have that one?
Yep.
My Spiritual Toolkit. Who has it? Do you use it?
Sometimes that.
Yeah, how about when you first got it?
Yeah.
I like guys, I'll give it to guys, I don't use mine at all anymore. Anybody not know what I'm talking about? My Spiritual Toolkit? It has the 9 questions on it. It's got a lot of stuff. It's got the beauty, it has the Thomas More prayer in there. Thomas More prayer is beautiful. But it gets you in a habit, and then you can just send it to your sponsor. So I can go through, I can answer the 9 questions, and I can click it. What it's trying to do is get me into the nightly inventory. Can I get a habit going? Can I take 5 minutes out? By the way, I'm not afraid at 7 o'clock to do my nightly inventory. And then go about my, we're doing something. We can call the day at the end, at the end of the day, I can do that, and then I can watch my TV and do what, if Kathy and I are doing something, or we're off to somewhere, I can end my day. I can do my inventory. I can do my journaling then. I don't do my journaling as well as I wished I had done, but I love to journal in the morning, and then I love coming back and seeing where I was a year ago. Where was I 2 years ago? What were the things I was afraid of? What was the problems I was having? What was I asking God for insight on? What was I asking for God's guidance? I love that. What was I asking for God's guidance? Isn't that stupid? Like somehow he's not guiding me, until I ask him. Why don't I ask him for the courage to accept his guidance? I don't think that God has ever stopped guiding me. Has he ever stopped guiding you? No, of course not. It's me that turns it off. Let me hear your guidance. It asks for inspiration as I go throughout the day. Inspiration to me is awareness. Can I be aware of your guidance? Can I be aware of why I didn't get that promotion or that job or that car or that bank account that I was hoping to get? There must be something in it, God. Let me see it, because I'm upset right now, or I'm hurting, or can I do it? So, good. Pretty good, huh?
Very good.
Yeah, I hope we didn't rush it too much. Any thoughts on that sheet? Did everybody get a sheet? Yeah.
I need one.
Okay, I'll get you one later. Did anybody get one that, I had some more coming around. Do we have any I'll bring them next week. I'll bring some more next week. How's that sound? Okay?
Stay for 12, huh?
Huh?
You better stay for 12.
Yeah, well, you guys are in the shoe department. Did you know that? You back row? You're in the shoe department. That's where the loafers, the slippers, yeah, and the sneakers are. Donna, any questions? What do you think? Can you do that on a daily basis?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, like the camel?
Yes.
Get on your knees and say the prayer. Yeah, it works.
I never heard that either.
Yeah, you've never heard the camel? Okay.
I got a camera in my house.
Well, thanks for coming, guys. Should we close with the 3rd step and 7th step prayer?